What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith at GSD Mode Studios, and I'm here with this week's weekly real estate tip. And today, I'm here to talk to you about yearly planning and effective goal setting. So how to go out there and be extremely effective with this. And as you know, as we've heard quotes, or whatever the hell you want to call them out there, if you plan to fail, you are failing to plan. Your success all starts with your planning. So then it makes sense, if my success is going to be determined on how well I plan, then I got to make sure that I have the right planning strategy. And that's what I'm here to break down with you, so you can have a plan to kick ass in your real estate business as well as every element of your life. So real quick though, before we jump in, make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe below, hit that subscribe button. As soon as you hit that, a bell's going to pop up. Click on that bell. That will alert you every time I release one of these free epic training content videos to ensure that none of these are ever missed. And if you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere to this on an audio podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star raving review. As with the more subscribers, the more reviews that we have, that's how you support us here on the show, how you support me. It allows us to continue the growth of this show, and I truly appreciate your support. All right, with that being said, let's break this down. So again, yearly planning and goal setting. So this is a very simplistic plan, even though I've got a lot of different steps here. And with this stuff, and then with this show, is maybe you've noticed and realized as you've been watching this, look, yeah, I want to make sure that you guys get inspired and you get motivated and increases, hope that you have, if that's the right word to utilize, the hope that of knowing what's possible to go out there and create. And that's a big part of the GSD Mode podcast, everything we do here. However, that's not enough, right? I also want to give you tactical and systematic steps and things that you can do in ways where we break this down, where you can implement this to have success in your business. And that is the goal with these sessions, right? These weekly sessions. So the first step, though, is to identify what your life plan is. Where a lot of people go wrong, a lot of real estate agents and people just go wrong with their overall business planning or their overall goal setting and planning, is they don't think long term. They're not planning out their life. They're not sitting there thinking about, what would the perfect life be? Like, what would my perfect day be? What is the life I'm ultimately trying to build? Because this next year, let's just say it's as of creating this video, November 7th, 2019. So we're getting ready for 2020. Yeah, right? Now you might be watching this years down the road. So whatever the next year is or the next 12 months of your life, that time frame exists as a stepping stone to get one step closer to creating what it is that you want to create, which is an epic life. Like, go out there and create a business that allows you to live the life that you truly want, live a life and create a life truly worth living. We got one shot at this life, might as well go out there and create it epic, right? So you got to spend time. I mean, more people today spend more time designing their grocery list than they do their life plan, or designing and planning for Christmas or a vacation than they ever do their life plan. So start thinking about this. Fast forward, you're 85, 90 years old, you're on your deathbed, and you're having that last reflection question, and you're asking yourself, what did I do with this gift called life? Right? Did I get out there and create something epic, or did I piss it away, have this laundry list of regrets, and now there's no time left to go out there and change it, which is what 99% of human beings do and exit this world, with a laundry list of shoulda, woulda, couldas, and all these regrets. We don't want to do that. Now, you have to spend the time in reflection and in solitude really thinking about this, because number one, the goals need to be your own, right? Like, you got to create your life, not the life that I want, the life that you want. Right? So don't compare yourself to others, right? Don't remain attached to the goals of your parents, right? Or society. Make sure it's shit that you want in your life, right? So what does my life plan look like? And again, you may not have clarity on what that looks like. Fast forward 30, 40, 50 years of when you're leaving this world, that conversation that you want to have. I mean, I get that that's tough, but you can start very quickly with thinking what you don't want. Right? Thinking about the pains and the things that you don't want to experience, the regrets that you don't want to experience. At least start there. Then from there, when it comes to life planning, I recommend that you break down and identify, what would my perfect ideal day be? What time would I wake up? How do I feel when I wake up? What's the first thing that I do after I wake up? What's the second thing? What's the third thing? Right? When I enter my office, what am I doing at my office? Like, breaking that down. Then from there, I then go into, once I'm clear on my life plan, I redo this every year because my life plan is always changing at different parts of my life. Yeah, right? As I get older and have more life experiences, things change, right? So our own internal whys and convictions and purposes, whatever the hell that you want to frame them as, changes over time. So I want to reassess this every year. Then from there, I bring in the GSD Mode model, right? And I look at the GSD Mode model. This is now for the next 12 months of my life, right? What must happen in the next 12 months of my life for me to achieve my, not achieve, but be one step closer to achieving my life plan? Because remember, this next 12 months of your life is a stepping stone to creating a life that you ultimately want. With the GSD Mode model, I do this for every element of my life that's important to me. So the model is this. Number one is I identify part one of the model. It's a three-part model. Part one is what is the outcome that I want for this part of my life, and only one outcome. What is the most important thing that if I were to accomplish this thing at the end of the year, I would classify and consider this to be a win. So maybe it's, I want to net $500,000 in my real estate business, right? So bring home, that's what you actually made after, not gross, but net. So maybe it's, hey, I want to net $500,000 this year. And that solves all your problems. Like that's the biggest outcome, right? So I'm going to, then step two of this, the GSD Mode model is identifying the problems and obstacles that exist to allow the outcome to become a reality. Number three is action steps that you need to implement to solve those problems and obstacles to make sure that your outcome becomes a reality, right? So I've got these outcomes here, part one of this, the outcome. So for me, I've got one for my business, I've got one for my health, and I have one for my family, right? So those are the big three that I personally focus on. You can have more if that's what you want to focus on. Then based on those things, right, so now I'm clear on my life plan, I'm clear on my GSD mode outcomes, now I design my business plan, right? In my business plan, so this is a weekly real estate tip. So I'm assuming that all of you watching this are in the real estate industry. If you're not, this is still helpful in any industry that you're in, right? But I'm going to speak to real estate here. So my yearly business plan is though very specific. It's not a strategy plan. It's just a, hey, what must happen to make this business outcome a reality? So, okay, I need to have X amount of home closings, right? So I break this down so then I know every year, every quarter, every month, every week, and every day what I must execute on to make sure I'm winning to be one step closer or to make sure that my goal becomes accomplished, right? So I'm going to break down, okay, how many homes do I need to close, right? Then from there, how many leads do I need to generate and from what sources? And this, we should know this stuff by reflecting on our previous year and from our tracking data. How many conversations I must have, so my fault plan, how many conversations, how many reach outs, how many appointments set, appointment conductions, clients, closings, and if you are a team or a brokerage, that would then also include probably some recruiting with agents, whatever in there, right? But you got to know your path to a deal or path to hiring an agent, yeah, right? And but we should be able to reverse engineer those very easily. You should know what your average commission is, what your expenses are, what you net. So this becomes a reality. So maybe over the next, this is an example, maybe over the next year you realize, okay, hey, I need 3,200 leads. I got to do 45,000 reach outs. I have to have 3,000 conversations, right? I have to set, 300 appointments, right? Work with 250 clients or, whatever it may be to go out there and close 100 deals, right? And that leads to your reality. I just pulled those numbers out of my ass, so don't fact check me on those because I'm sure that those don't add up with the actual track data and what the kind of industry averages are for those numbers. But you got to get very clear on those. And if you don't know what those numbers are, you need to figure out and identify what there are in averages for those. All right, so now that our yearly business plan is created, then I want to set up a weekly planning and reflection session every single week. So you could do this on Sunday or just whatever day of the week works best for you, but take a couple hours and reflect each week. Okay, here's what I got done on last week. Right? What did I get done? How am I looking with my business plan? Here's what the numbers were I had to hit last week. How did I do? Did I accomplish them? Am I ahead of the game? Am I behind? Because if I'm behind, then dude, I got to replan for this next week, right? So if you look at an airplane, it spends 90% of its time in the air adjusting that nose to the target. And why? Because of turbulence. Well, we have turbulence that comes up in life, right? Things that come up, shit just happens. Sometimes like we're on target, sometimes we veer off, sometimes we're ahead, sometimes we veer off and we're below. So we're always just reassessing and readjusting and learning though, because we don't want to just get through the week, we want to get from it. So also during that reflection, it's not just numbers. I'm also looking, okay, hey, what were all the things that I got took up my time, right? All the appointments I was in, the meetings, the trainings, the events, right? What time I woke up, what time I went to bed, all those things. And I'm asking myself, okay, like what are some bad habits that I need to break and get rid of? But also, what was a waste of time? What meetings were not a good use of my time? Where could I have improved? I went on these listening presentations. How could I have improved on those, and so forth, right? Then I'm going to plan out the next week based on what I've done year to date, what I did this past week, where I'm at, what needs to happen for the rest of the year. I can recalibrate and recalculate based on my yearly business plan what needs to happen over this next week. Then from there, and let me break down one other thing. Then from there, I'm always looking at my GSD mode outcomes, right? So I have the one outcome for each of these. And as I'm planning out my next week and I'm looking at all my meetings and everything I have in place for the next week, I'm asking myself, does this align with these outcomes? It's either a yes or no. Either it's get me one step closer to these, or it's a no, and I need to cancel that fucking meeting or cancel that activity, cancel that training, whatever it is, and get it off my plate, right? You gotta make those decisions. Then every single day, I'm going to spend 20 to 30 minutes in my daily reflection and planning. So each and every day, just like we did with the yearly planning or the weekly planning, we're doing this now each day. So I do it at the end of the day at 6 o'clock every single day. I reflect, okay, here's how my day went so far. Like here's everything I got done. Here's everything I had to execute on to make today a win. And then here's the actual, right? How did I do? What can I improve on? What was a waste of my time, energy, and attention? Like what distracted me? Right? And again, how can I improve? Then from there, I'm going to replan out the next perfect day, right? And this daily plan becomes really powerful, especially once your yearly plan's dialed in and you know what these numbers are. Because then for me, I'm not focusing on the year. I'm just focusing on winning that day, each and every day. Like if all I have to do is just wake up and win this day and I just live my life 16-hour time blocks at a time outside of sleep, right? Then it makes it that much more doable. Any of us can go out there and be a rock star for 16 hours of our life. Then I'm going to go sleep, get back up again, and I got another 16 hours. Sleep, get back up again, another 16 hours. I'm just living 16-hour chunks at a time, right? So I'm going to do that every single day. So we got our yearly planning, weekly planning, now daily planning, and yes, is this a pain in the ass? Yes. Does it take a little bit of time? Yes. Is it tedious? Yes. Yeah, right? But creating success and the journey to creating success is boring, mundane, tedious, and shit that we don't always want to do. Right? But we got to have the right plan. Like, I don't care how hard you're running, how hard you're working. If you're working in the wrong direction, running in the wrong direction, you're never going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. You got to work hard, but you got to work smart. You got to make sure you're working on the right things. Your focus, attention, energy is going to the right things. And as a bonus, what I recommend is also to create a habit plan, right? So ask yourself, in order for me to create the life that I want to create, as well as hit the goals that I have for the next 12 months of my life, what are the habits I need to break and what are the habits I must create? Because remember, success is a becoming process, not a doing process, as the great Jim Rohn said. We all know that and understand that. So your habits, like an example, maybe you want to have, and I'm stealing this from James Clear. This is an analogy that he utilizes in his book, Atomic Habit. But he talks about, okay, maybe you want to, like your goal is to have a clean house, right? So you can either just go out there and clean your house for the day, or instead, you can focus on becoming a clean person and having habits of a clean, organized, tidy person, which then will give you always a clean, tidy house. But if I don't change those habits and I'm unorganized, I'm messy, I'm sloppy, I'm dirty, I can clean my house and it'll look good for that moment, but another day, 2 days later, it's going to be dirty as shit again. Yeah, right? So we want to have the right habits. The only way that you're going to make this yearly plan a reality and your life plan a reality is you got to become the person first. So you got to develop the habits, the rituals, the routines of people that are achieving those right away with it. So having a habit plan is much more crucial and important and effective than even a business plan, right? And then from there, I recommend to create, because this is all like the must-dos that we talked about. Like in order for us to create this, like here's all the shit we have to do. Right? But we also got to eliminate the shit that we shouldn't be involved in. So make a must-stop doing list, right? So, hey, if I want to create this, and I'm going to fully commit this to becoming a reality, what are the things that I must stop doing and eliminate from my life that are non-important things, right? Like maybe you need to eliminate TV. Maybe eliminate watching the news, right? Maybe you need to eliminate, sports. whatever. Because it's like, look, guys, like we only have so much focus, attention, and energy to give something, right? So if you want to go pro and if you want to kick ass in your business, you're going to have to eliminate the wasted time, the wasted shit. I'm not saying to not go out there and enjoy life and still have fun, but eliminate the things that aren't impacting your life based on your GSD mode outcomes, right? For the most important things for you in your life. So create then a must stop doing action plan and list as well. And then pay attention to that each and every day. Because if we don't, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, right? The law of diminishing intent is as true as gravity, right? Like we stop thinking about it. It's not in front of our face. We just stop doing it. So this is what I do for my yearly planning. And this is breaking it down to, again, my weekly and even daily process. I highly recommend it. Hopefully that this has been helpful to you. So real quick though, before you go, make sure to, again, like, subscribe, comment, review, all that shit I talked about in the beginning. Make sure to check us out at gsdmode.com where you can see more great content just like this, as well as a bunch of additional free training and tips and information and resources. Make sure to check out 41 Tips with Joshua Smith, which is 41 weeks of in-depth coaching email tips that I've personally written. Nothing's being sold in any of those, just hardcore strategies that can help you level up your real estate business. I also have an online masterclass training going on right now, specific to real estate agents truly looking to grow and scale their real estate business. So you can go check that out at growmyrealestatebusiness.com. So that's taking place right now, and covers all the top 14 or top things that I've learned in my 14 plus year long career, and everything I'm doing today, and give a lot of great tips, information, tactics, and strategy, show you all the systems I'm using in my business. So make sure to check that out, growmyrealestatebusiness.com. Make sure to please share this content. If you find this valuable, there's others that will find this valuable as well. So make sure that you share. Thank you so much again for watching and checking out this content, and we'll see you next time. Peace.